everybody, this is Elizabeth Mariama from Omega Visa Advisory. Today we have one law firm partner, attorney Nicolas. He been practice in New York for a while, and we have been working with attorney Nick for like at least 3 years. Get a lot of education from him as well. At birth, he practice both family-based and employment-based. Can you introduce yourself and your law firm to us a little bit?
So I'm Nicolas Caraquel. I am an immigration attorney and I've been practicing based in Queens, New York. I've been a lawyer since 2012. Then I have my law office again in Queens. Okay, and again, I've been working with Elizabeth here for about 3 years now, right?
Yes, 2 years. Yeah. Today we have you here because we have had time really understand a lot of denial of the section that we've been talking about.
Yes.
So can you explain us a little bit about that? The one that are people here that don't have any immigration education should know what this deny mean about.
Okay.
The first section is like INA 214B deny.
Okay, the INA 214B basically is the result of the latest the policy, the Trump policy that
It's okay.
Okay, the Trump policy that, hey, if you are part of the 75 countries, there is a pause. It's not a ban.
Yeah.
So it means that the government is just taking extra time to do vetting of applicants, right? And also there is a possibility of being a public charge. A public charge means that, hey, the applicant could be below the poverty guidelines and could be a burden, financial burden to the government. Right, but then again, for those countries that are falling under the 75 countries pause as of the moment, it's not a total ban. It's just a temporary pause because the government needs more time to vet on the applications and the applicants themselves. But unfortunately, there is no relief yet. So there are suits. The government is being sued because of its being unfair and reasonable, but there is no final decision on that yet. So unfortunately, people who actually have their interviews, and if they will receive those, it's not a permanent denial. It's just basically, the officer saying, I cannot make a decision as of the moment because there are pending cases affecting this member. So don't lose hope.
Yeah.
Okay, it's just a pause. It's not temporary. As to how long, we don't know yet, right? But we'll keep you posted.
Yeah.
If that will really resolve.
We waiting for that. And also another section that we want to add it are 221G and VS 221A.
Later, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So the INA 221D is basically when you get denied. So let's say you are actually applying for a non-immigrant visa. So you're applying for a tourist visa, student visa. So anything non-immigrant, so meaning you're just coming to the United States on a temporary basis. Unfortunately, you've been to the United States and even if you apply at the U.S. Embassy and you've been denied before because you committed fraud or you violated the terms of the visa when you were in the United States. So since this is non-immigrant, if you again violated the terms so let's say if you have tourist visa, you come to the United States and then you work and the government finds out, or you actually lost status because you overstay. So then you go out of the country and then you apply again for another non-immigrant visa. Then 99% of the time you will be denied because again of those violations. So then the 212D basically give that relief, but it's discretionary though. It's not automatic, but what they are saying is that there is a chance depending on the discretion of the officer with so many factors, right? It depends on the nature of why are you coming back to the United States, what is the urgency of why you need to come to the United States. So some people come to the United States for humanitarian reasons, right? Because again, hey, their qualifying relatives dying and so on. But it is a more difficult type of waiver, but at least there is a small hope that you could still come back to the United States even if you violated the terms of your visa before.
Can you do that when people have those kind of background? We have those kind of clients.
If they believe that they have
Good reason.
good reason to come back, again, because of the nature of the reason why you're coming back or the urgency of why you need to come back to the US, at least try, right? So if you are not familiar with this, reach out to an immigration lawyer for consultation and they will help guide you as to how to go through this type of waiver.
Yeah, Waiver, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so I aware like hey, there are very low change to get it, but if you have a good reason,
But you have a good reason, we
yeah,
can.
it's possible. Yeah. Okay.
It's a very small chance, but at least there's a chance.
Yeah, there are some people must be like have a good reason, family separation or something like that. Or yeah, and then there are section 3 that we try to understand it by read publicly, but we not really completely understand it. INA 212A.
Yeah, the 212AA is the I'm not saying opposite of. So if you're saying the 212D is for the non-immigrant visa, the 212A is basically for the immigrant visa.
Okay.
So let's say as a spouse has a petition for the wife.
Yeah.
So a US citizen or a green card holder had petitioned a spouse or their minor children and so on and so forth. However, those beneficiaries actually have some grounds for ineligibility. So it could be that they've been into the United States, but then they've become out of status for more than a year. Or if they actually committed fraud, or if they actually just have some criminality, right? So let's say these are non-felony cases, but then again they were convicted of a lesser offense, then they will be denied at the US Embassy. Okay, but then again there are remedies. So let's say there are fraud waivers or there are fraud about criminal grounds, correct? So then you have to have another application to be able to do that. So let's say the waiver for fraud is on the form of 601 or in the 601As, and then once it's approved, then you just go back to the embassy to have another interview, and the chances are it's very high once you already have the approved waiver. Okay, now this is the exciting part though, because again I've handled a lot of cases like these. So let's say again your spouse has committed something fraud in the past and so on, and they've been denied at the embassy, but then we filed for the fraud waiver and the waiver was approved, right? And then they go to the embassy. Most of the cases, I mean, I think based on these cases we haven't been denied yet, but I'm not promising anything for future cases, right? But then once they are approved, there's another form that you need to apply, the form I-212. So when we had that in the Philippines, the embassy is saying, we don't know how to handle the I-212, right? But because by procedure, it should have been the embassy has to resolve the 212, but in practice though, it's actually the CBP. So meaning you already fly back to the United States, and then at the border patrol, then they will look for the form 212. So, but then you will be allowed. So again, comparing to the 212D, the 212A is a lot more controllable. So you have a better grasp of, I'm already approved, then I will be able to 99% be able to come back to the United States.
That's something different that we can't figure out why it's so different, you know.
Again, the 212A, because it's a non-immigrant, is barely discretionary to the officer. Right? But the 212A, you have a control of because you can argue your case. Right.
Thank you for sharing that. This is important because some people don't know that they can approve the case.
Yes, and the 212A, basically, you have another application that you need to file here in the United States. So just like what we said, the fraud waiver, so you could basically file the 601. And then once it's approved, it will be forwarded to the embassy. And then in most cases, though what they're saying is the embassy is not bound by the decision of USCIS, but in most cases though, once the waiver is approved, they will approve the immigrant visa.
Okay, that's cool.
So again, for those for your viewers, if your case is on the immigrant side of the application, spouse, children, right, and then your remedy is basically the 212A, basically apply for another waiver. Then the 212D is a more difficult.
Okay, so thank you for that. So makes sense now. Because we aware, like, you know, when 212A, 212B, why does people have the same thing? Why it's have to be A?
So 212D is for non-immigrant, 212A is for the immigrant. I want to add though, but because this may add to the confusion, the 204B and the 214B. So when people apply for a tourist visa or a J1 visa or a student visa, then get denied at the embassy, what it meant though is you were not able to convince the officer at the embassy that your intention to the United States is temporary, or you have not convinced that you have strong ties to your country, so the family, right, investments, business, and all that.
Yeah.
So that's another kind of denial that you need to be aware of.
Yeah, thank you for that answer. This is make more sense.
Yes.
And also, so you already talk about 212B as well. So that's a good thing. But yeah, here my last question before we end everything. Do you still think like we have a chance of like those applicants that I have been sent to different applicants from employment base to file 75 country lawsuit
Yes.
is still pending. But you think we have a chance if the person in outside the US, like
So the case of the 75 countries being paused is not so different from the 39 countries being also on the pause status, right? But if you actually know, last week or a week ago, they were winning cases now. The courts are actually saying, hey, this is unlawful, this is illegal, this is violation of due process, and so on and so forth. And then the courts are directing the Trump administration to say, hey, you have to decide on these cases because this been one. And again, so we are just waiting for the case of the 75 countries to be decided upon. But the question is there chance? I personally believe that those posts are also illegal, unlawful, right? So we're just waiting for the official decisions of the court to make it official.
Yeah. How you feel about immigration surface in 2025 after President Trump take the office until today?
Well, this is President Trump's second term, right?
Second term, yes.
The first term actually is not far from the experiences we had, right? So it was chaotic, right? The policies are so sudden and so on. But I think the experience you have during his first term, this is 2.0. Right? So the first time is attacking more on the undocumented, no status, but this time even the documented ones are being chased and so on. Maybe for some good reasons, but I think it's just too much of doing so many things.
Scary people.
Right, and it scared people.
Yeah, and then you as an immigration attorney, if you can change one thing right now, what you want to change?
Don't do stuff that would be considered inadmissible, right? So if you, let's say you have a pending application, right? Don't do drugs, don't commit crimes, right? I mean, you actually do the applications, right? Choose the right way of doing things. Don't commit fraud. Because again, even in my country, the Philippines, though, people use fake documents. They provide wrong information and so on because they said their neighbor was able to do that, their friends were able to do that. But this is a different environment, though, correct? So people just be clean in the sense that there is no crimes, there's no drugs, there's no fraud, right? Then American dream would still be a possibility, right? But as to your country being part of the 75 pause, there is really not much we can do, right? Because those are policies, political policies.
How you and your law firm team coping up this kind of setting?
Well, it's for law offices though, whether the president or the administration, not only for Trump, right? But whether the administration do good thing or bad things, people go to the office for consult or for assistance, right? So I would say that for us it's good, but we understand fully the frustration and people get scared also.
Yeah, it's more like more like inbound call coming later after every memo come out on Friday.
Yes, but it's actually extra difficult for us because when the administration issues a memo, our clients demand explanation. Hey, you have to give us time, explain it to me, how does it affect our case and so on. And it's taking much of our time just explaining to them how these memos affect their case.
Yeah, but thank you for all your opinion. I think I asked a little too much about your opinion with the administration, but I think just want to see the point of view how the law firm coping up too, because we want to know. Because some law firm, like some small law firm, I see like if they have revenue in this type of amount, I see that start to sell in the law firm right now. So that's what I scary about. What's gonna happen next?
I think again on our side, on the law firm side, it really affected our workload because
Yes,
again,
right,
it's our
right.
extra effort, right? And we may not be able to accommodate everybody, correct? But then for the larger law firms, they are actually the ones more aggressive, suing the government, right? You actually heard a lot of talks for the last 2 days that we are here. That there are actually advocates. So
Yeah.
not even the law offices though. There are groups of individuals or lawyers or firms
Yeah.
that are suing the government because they are saying what the government is doing is wrong, right? So again, I would actually just say again, just a piece of advice. What I said, there are two prongs or perspective I want to look into this, right? Individually, again, don't commit anything that could potentially cause the denial of your application. And we're talking about fraud and criminality and so on that. But there are things that are beyond your control, right? So
Yeah,
these
right.
policies, it's not beyond, it's beyond you. No matter what you do, if the administration, when Trump issued the 75 clause, right? I was looking, browsing if the Philippines was part of it, correct?
You know, I was shocked,
I was shocked.
and then
also.
I went somewhere and then come back to New York on the flight. I can't usually
Yes.
take a nap, but I can't. And
Yes.
then when I got in a plane, I bring this camera and then say, "Hey, we're gonna file lawsuit for this,"
Right,
because I
yes.
know someone
Right.
gonna say that. But it's not only client have a hard time when I say some stuff like going to file lawsuit. Have another thing, and New York bar reach out to me. You can't say that you're not immigration
Yes,
attorney.
yes.
Yeah, so I say, but people need to know.
Yeah, they could, basically.
Yeah, people need to know that they can file lawsuit.
Yeah, individually, of course, this is complicated processes, right? So
Yeah.
getting a lawyer's assistance would be helpful.
Yeah, right.
Right. So we actually call it the mandamus or anything,
Yeah.
right?
Are you gonna do mandamus?
I'm trying to learn that most probably by next year, right? But again, with the caseload we have now, my office is not able to do suits we
Right
cannot-
now.
Yeah, we don't have the time.
But we hope you do it because we have a
Yes.
bunch of Thai people and
Yeah, no. Again, I was in a meeting when the 75 countries was introduced. I was released, published.
Yeah.
I was okay, guys. Can we just stop a little bit because I thought the Philippines would be part of it. But then when I saw Thailand, I said, how come Thailand be part of the 75 countries? But
we never saw that we have the number of public charge.
yes, and it was public charges.
Yeah, and when we ask someone around, even like people who supposed to have data, they say they have none.
Yeah.
But
It was-
what
it
I
was
have
impressive.
seen is just president post in his X that is the list, but never see the number.
Yeah, or could be politically motivated.
Yeah,
There
I
might be
think-
some issues
Yeah.
affecting Thailand and the
Yeah,
US.
I don't know,
Yes.
but I hope we copying up and then lawsuit would be held. I don't want to
Yes.
pronounce lawsuit so much because later the ethic will be.
Actually, it was actually discussed a while ago, though, that people are afraid to verbally or be spoken about, hey, sue the government, because they think that
Oh,
the
they send
government will
email.
go after you.
Yeah. They
Right?
do
But
that.
then again, don't be scared. That's your right to actually sue. the
Yeah,
government.
right. Yeah.
You have that.
Thank you so much, Anthony Nix. Give me a hug.
Of course.
No, we all have a
Again,
hard
if you
time.
need me
Yeah.
for in future updates,
Yeah,
let me
thank
know.
you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're from New York, so